Welcome to the Coomram Report. May the peace and blessings of the life-giving creative spirit be upon you and upon your family. My name is Melvin Ishmael Johnson. God willing, every month in the year 2020, I will give you 10 to 15 minutes of interviews about topics of community concern under the title Nuggets of Wisdoms. Now this month we will talk about how to solve the homeless problem with interview clips from myself and longtime homeless activist Ted Hayes. Now you can find the monthly interviews on our website, dramastage-coomram.org. DRAMASTAGE-QUMRAN.org. Thank you for tuning in. There was a meeting last Monday at the Los Angeles Theater Center to discuss solutions to the homeless problem, especially Skid Row. Over almost 500 people showed up. And it's clear to me that what came out of the meeting is the fact that nobody is on the same page and the homeless problem keep on growing. So Ted, I would like to ask you, and then Leslie, with all of the millions of dollars that are put into the homeless problem, why they can't come up with a solution? Why do you think they can't come up with a solution?
It's political. Mm-hmm. It's very political. The only reason why the Dome Village closed, it was political. The worst enemies to the homeless are the activists themselves. Mm-hmm. They found a niche that soothes their itch for fame, for prestige, for money. The advocates for the homeless or the social service providers, they're pimps, basically. I believe they all initially started off correctly, had a right heart, but homeless is a very difficult and complex problem. And they realize, I gotta pay my bills. And then they begin to realize, you know what? If I can feed so many people a day, bed so many people a day, that's a per diem thing that I can give to the government. I can raise me some money. Mm-hmm. And that's why I quit publicly being an activist, demonstrations, because when we came out in the 85, in those days, we were in the news all the time. The missions and the shelters and the advocates, they had the machinery to go to the constituents and say, hey, you see the homeless are in the news? Send me your money because we're feeding homeless people, we're sheltering homeless people. And if you trace every one of those missions downtown, they all blew up all of a sudden, didn't they? You can trace they're getting the money back to 1985, 86, and 87. That is the root of their money. Mm-hmm. And I had gone to the social service providers, had gone to the advocates, and I went to the worst of them, the activists. And I said, look, fellas, I came out here on purpose, became homeless on purpose, slept on these sidewalks on purpose to find out what this thing is and whether or not we can resolve it. And I found something. And they resisted all the way.
About the microscope homeless solution think tank and Project Reconnect, because I see one of the major problems that keep any solutions from happening down here in the downtown and Skid Row area is the fact that you have all of these different sectors who fail to work together as a unit to solve the problems. The business community, the activist community, the service providers, the man and woman laying in the street, the regular community. And so I just want to read something. It's a proposal for getting the research that the community can trust. And I think this is what's needed. You got to have the research that the business community can trust, the activist community, the service riders community. You got to have the same research. So that means you have to have the same input you have to have input from all of these sectors to come up with a problem. Because no matter how, we've already proven that no matter how much money, you can put millions and millions of dollars. I think last year they put something like $118 million in trying to solve this problem. And then they look around and they say it's an 18% increase, but we see in the downtown area, it's over 80% increase in the amount of homeless population. So what happened, the more money that you put into solving this homeless problem, the more you create a bureaucracy. The more you create jobs for this bureaucracy that have no incentive to solve the homeless problem because they'll be putting themselves out of a job. So we come up with what we call the Microscope Homeless Solution Think Tank. And what it is, it's a Microscope Homeless Solution Think Tank. It's a group of 10 college students who will interview 24 stakeholders, participants from the Skid Row community about some of the major problems in the Skid Row community and possible solutions to solving the problem. And then the second part of that is Project Reconnect. The goal of this project is to utilize the research information from the Microscope Homeless Solution Think Tank and implement a dual plan to transition tent dwellers in the Skid Row area into transitional and permanent housing in the downtown Skid Row and other areas of the community. So out of this, we need to produce the community, all segments of the community need to have input into the solution so all of these different segments can trust each other and work as a unit to come up with a solution. See, it's not about money. They already tried that. See, you got to have something that would unify all of these segments to work together instead of fighting against each other like kids.
I'd like to say, now I am a veteran. I'm a Vietnam veteran, 1969 to 71. Can I tell you my age now? And not only am I a veteran, but I come from a family of veterans. Out of a family of 7 males and 2 females, 6 of us served in the military. 3 in the Army, 2 in the Air Force, and I served in the United States Marine Corps. So this is why this is such an important issue to me. And not only that, since we've been working in the Skid Row area, one of the things that we notice is how many veterans that's living in the streets. See, and we're going to talk about that in a little while when we do our monologue. And so what we try to do with Drama Stage Qumran, we feel that people talk so much about the problems, that everybody knows the problems because it's amplified. You can read it in the paper and all that kind of stuff. What we try to talk about is solutions. Solutions. What is the solutions to the homeless problem? Now here's what we come up with. Because we talk to other homeless, people who have been homeless veterans, and we want to get their opinions on what do they think it takes to solve the homeless problem. And here's where we at. I think the first step in solving the homeless problem is make the homeless problem the homeless veteran problem. That's the starting point. By making it the homeless veterans problem, you put it on the shoulders of the United States government who sent all of these young men over to fight in all of these particular wars and things like that, and come back traumatized, etc. like that. So we feel that it is also the duty of the American government to finance the solutions to it. Not just the non-veterans who's laying in the street. We feel that the starting point, make the homeless problem, the homeless veterans problem, get the American government to finance some think tanks where you can get some of the best minds in the United States, get them together, make the government pay for it, come up with some solutions, and then spread that solutions out to the rest of the homeless in terms of solving that. Now, what can the interfaith community do right now to make a dent in the homeless problem? Number one, I'm going to talk about Los Angeles, because Los Angeles is the homeless capital. See, it's homeless capital of the United States. Not only is this the homeless capital, you probably got more millionaires here in Los Angeles, kind of Los Angeles probably than anywhere else in the United States. But you also got the blight of people laying down there in the Skid Row area down there. So here's the second part of doing something right now. We feel that the three major religions, the religious institutions, can also work with the city to find out all of these empty properties around here, to either buy these empty properties, rent these empty properties, and start programming what the Prophet Muhammad, what Moses, and what Jesus taught. It's right there in the scripture. You know, they started off, the Messiah Jesus, when he announced his Messiahship. It's tied into that in Isaiah on what they were supposed to be doing. You know, working with people coming up out of prison, people in need and all that kind of stuff. And the brother Umar, he mentioned, it's tied into the scripture of Islam, is also tied in the scripture of the Torah. See, so we feel that if these three major religions rent some of this empty property, start programming, start picking some of the people up that's on Skid Row, start bringing them into some of these houses, and at the same time provide support